Welcome to SAM Conversation, an online program of South Asia Monitor. Today we're going to look at India and the Maldives, cooperation and pitfalls. It's my pleasure to introduce two very eminent discussants, Mr. Ashok Sajjanhar, former ambassador to 3 countries, and he's very modest, but he's held many more portfolios in the Ministry of External Affairs. Lieutenant Shokin Chauhan was a Director General of Assam Rifles, the largest paramilitary force in India and perhaps even the world. And more important, he was in the Directorate General of Public Interface twice, and also the Defense Attache in Nepal. That's the post which is the privilege of officers from the Brigade of Gurkhas. Ambassador Sajjanhar, I request you to come out with, it was November 88 that we sent a parachute brigade on the request of then President Gayoom, and they did a good job. And now in the recent past, the opposition is causing a lot of trouble because of some advanced light helicopters which we gifted to them, and the setting up of a Coast Guard station. Ambassador Sajjanhar.
Yes, thank you very much, Colonel Bhat. Thank you very much for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be on your program. The question that, the subject that you have chosen for the day, I think it is very relevant. It's very appropriate. And it needs a good deal of understanding, good deal of reflection, thought, and decision in terms of how to take matters forward, both by our government, the decision and policymakers, as also good information by the people at large. So what you said just now very correctly, in 1988, there was a coup attempt against the administration of President Abdul Gayoom. And then he requested for support, he requested for assistance, and immediately assistance was sent out to the Maldives, and we sent airlifted our forces, our troops from here. They were able to restore President Abdul Gayoom back to power, and the insurgents, the rebels who had come from Sri Lanka, they were beaten back. But immediately after that, our forces came back. So, you know what you mentioned about the gifting of the 2 helicopters, that was done, I think, about in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And there has been a bit of a totally unwarranted controversy about them, because these helicopters are basically used for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. And that is what they are used for all this time. And even as far as the Coast Guard support and assistance that is to be accorded to Maldives, it is basically to help them to manage their own maritime space in a much better way. So I would tend to suggest, Colonel Bhat, that this is basically politicization of an issue. I will not even say that it is ignorance of lack of knowledge of the issues involved, but it is politicization of the issue by political parties and individuals who are opposed to India, who are opposed to the political party that is in power, that is the Maldives Democratic Party, and those we have seen Abdullah Yameen, who is behind this. He was the president of Maldives from 2013 to 2018. And that time really saw the huge decline as far as bilateral relations are concerned, because Abdullah Yameen was much more invested in better relations, good relations with China. So I think it is politics, and we really need to think deeply as to how we deal with it, so that going forward, because we are going to have the elections also now, 2023 for the parliament and for the president, and then for the parliament. So that is also that also becomes very important.
Thank you, Ambassador Sajjanhar. You've come out with some very, crunch points ever since that happened. Jen Chauhan, my own reading is that ever since 88, when we sent this parachute brigade, although we were praised by the Americans, but surely the Chinese were not very happy. And now, in the past, say, anything that has happened between Maldives and us, by way of our helping them in the past 2 years or more, would only be bothering the Chinese all the more. Your take?
Good evening to you, sir. Firstly, thank you so much for calling me to talk on your show. I'm indeed honored by your invitation. Maldives has always been a very, very important country to us. I have personally been a part of an Indian delegation to Maldives in 2010, where I accompanied the National Defense College delegation that went to the Maldives. And I saw for myself how strategically located the Maldives is. Just a small snippet for our viewers. Despite being the smallest Asian country as far as land is concerned, Maldives is one of the world's most geographically dispersed countries, straddling across a 960-kilometer long ridge running north to south, and it's in the center of the Indian Ocean. It's like a toll gate on the Indian Ocean. So its strategic location is so important for any country wanting to cross the Indian Ocean. It is also very close to our own island territories of Lakshadweep and Minicoy. And as Ambassador Sajjanhar said, we've had excellent relations with Maldives. I was a witness of it. We in 2009 we had the then later chief of defense staff doing the NDC course with us, and in 2010 when we met him, he was more than forthcoming on the importance of our relation with the Maldives. As you said, we've had because it's close, because we are strategically located, and because we need to keep the commons of the Indian Ocean free for movement of ships and trade. This is something that we need to continue holding on to the Maldives. As Mr. Sajjanhar said, Abdul he was the president in the last term. He was deposed in a democratically held election. He has always been pro-Chinese, and he talks for China. He doesn't talk for his own nation. We have helped Maldives out. We have given them radars because they simply did not have any kind of radar coverage along their island chain. We've given them helicopters, and we'll continue to help them because it's of strategic importance to us. Sometimes the opposition does what they feel they should do, and they oppose strategically important relationships. In this case, it is even more so because, as the ambassador mentioned, our relationships during the time when he was at the helm of affairs in Maldives was not good. But all I can say is that we should ignore the rantings of the opposition head, and we should continue with our engagement with the Maldives, make it even closer. We should have more military level exercises with them, get them closer as far as we are concerned economically. As you know, we've helped them when they ran out of water, when their water desalination plant broke. It was India who went and gave them the desalination plant. So in every which way, India is the only country that can help Maldives. And Maldives knows that. And when we went there, they told us so many things. The only country that can help us ever. There is no other country that can, in the time frame that we require, can ever help us. So I agree totally. It's strategically important, and we need to continue not bothering about the opposition in Maldives and continue doing what we have to do.
Thank you, Jan Chauhan. Thank you very much. As far as China is concerned, it's not only a string of pearls that it's putting around India, but it's now quite obvious that anywhere, their ambitions seem to be far, far wider than we may have assessed earlier. And if India is helping a country like Maldives, or, well, they've already entered Sri Lanka, and they've entered Nepal, they take it as an affront. Ambassador Sajjanhar, how do you see this playing out?
Colonel Bhat, I would see that this challenge from China will continue, because China is, as you mentioned yourself, setting up this string of pearls around India. And I would say that we played our cards, so to say, very well between 2012 to 2018, when we had Abdullah Yameen as the president. And there were a number of areas, number of actions by Yameen which were designed basically to keep India out of Maldives. But we handled the situation extremely well, and you would recall that even though Prime Minister Modi was to travel to Maldives in March of 2015, but at the last minute, the visit was cancelled because Mohammad Nasheed, the former president of Maldives, he was arrested by Abdullah Yameen. And so we allowed, let the diplomatic process in Maldives go ahead as it should have. And so in November of 2018, we saw that Ibrahim Soli, he won the presidential elections hands down. And then it was only Prime Minister Modi who was invited at the inauguration ceremony. And I would say that there has been no looking back after that, because we had within 10 days of the swearing in of the new government, we had the visit of the foreign minister of Maldives, and he was accompanied by a large number of other ministers. That took the relationship forward. Within a month of swearing in December 2018, we had the visit of Ibrahim Soli himself. We had the visit of the defense minister, Mariam Didi, in February or January of 2019. So as I said, there has been no looking back after that, and we've been taking our relations, to next higher level. So defense cooperation is definitely an area where we are helping them in terms of training. I think the Maldivians National Defense Forces, we have trained more than 1,250 of their personnel in India, and we have increased the number of training slots for them. We are having these institutional dialogue at the level of defense secretaries, also at the level of the chief of defense staff. So at every level, and if we were to look at development cooperation also, we have been doing it in a very big way. We advanced the first visit of the president of Maldives, Ibrahim Soli, in 2018, December. We advanced, put forward support of $1.4 billion for the Maldivian economy, out of which about $50 million in terms of budgetary support, $150 million in terms of investing in their market by the State Bank of India, about $400 million as the currency swap arrangement and $800 million for other infrastructure projects. The point I'm trying to make is that we have been going very strong in that. There is the party of Abdullah Yameen, that is the Progressive Party of Maldives, PPM. They have been trying to raise these issues and to create fissures between India and Maldives. I think what we really need to do, exactly as General Chauhan has mentioned, continue what we are doing. But in addition to that, also try to reach out, in a sort of a public diplomacy initiatives, public diplomacy efforts, reach out to the people and to tell them that, whether it is the helicopters, it is basically for their help, it is for their benefit, it is for their rescue, it is for their advantage. India does not have any intention of impinging adversely on this sovereignty of the Maldives. Because if we had any such intention, we would have done that in 1988 when we came there. We wouldn't have left so very quickly, so very early, and without demanding anything from them. We were there to help Maldives in 2004, you would recall. When the tsunami struck on the 26th of December, India was, whether it was Sri Lanka or it was Maldives, India was the first and the only country to reach out in a very proactive manner to take care of, to help and to support the people of the country. And as you and General Chauhan mentioned about the project NEER in 2014, when their desalination plant stopped functioning, then we sent ships of bottled mineral drinking water and even supplied that by air. So we do not have, India does not have any ideas of impinging adversely on the sovereignty of that country. This is something that we need to reach out and tell them. And I think this has started happening also. And India is always there to help and support the people of Maldives. So continue what we are doing, but also in the public diplomacy domain, also reach out in a much bigger way. Colonel Bhat.
Thank you, Mr. Sajjanhar. Again, you brought out very correctly with all these points. In fact, I'm glad you stressed on the fact that whenever we've helped any country, it's been, a very clean operation, a clean relationship. We get asked, we help, and we exit. To no country in the past have we ever had any designs of, staying on. If it's Bhutan, then it's at the behest of Bhutan that we have a training team there. It's for their, on their request and for their benefit. And in the recent pandemic, also, I think Maldives was one country to which we extended great support, COVID-19 related support. General Chauhan, you think there is anything further we can do in defense cooperation?
Sir, definitely. There's so much more we can do. And I would sort of go a little further than what Ambassador Sajjanhar said. We must have actually a plan, a clear plan. We must link up with the people. We must bring India's case to the people. We must link up with their armed forces, because the armed forces are critical in small countries like this. The Maldivian Defense Force is aware of our linkages with them, and they are clear about the fact that we are the only country that can help them. And we must train more Maldivian Defense Force officers in our country. We must train we must allow them to utilize India's military installations, allow them to carry out field firing, allow them to, in whatever way, in any which way we can. We must first ensure that the Maldivian Defense Force is with us. That's, I would say, critical, because in small countries like this, it is actually the defense force that actually hold it together. Secondly, as Master Sajjanhar said, we must continue to link with the people. We have taken up the project of connecting the Malay main island with the other smaller islands. That must continue. We must continue to give them support. We must continue to discourage any other larger power from coming into our area of interest. Where Maldives stands along the Indian Ocean, it is India's ocean here, and the sea lanes of communication must remain open. Whatever China thinks it can do, it is irrelevant to our critical areas of interest. And China must understand that she cannot do what she thinks she's doing, or what she thinks she can. In fact, when we visited Maldives, we also visited Sri Lanka. And since Ambassador Sajjanhar also mentioned Sri Lanka, and as well as you did, Sri Lanka is another issue, that these are on our critical areas. And whatever is critical for us, India must be clear, and India must assert itself in these areas. There's just no doubt about this. And I feel that that we've been doing the right thing in Maldives. We've been aggressively pushing our case, and we do not covet their land, and they know that. In fact, in one of the conversations we had, I distinctly remember the Maldivians president telling us that we are aware that India does not covet our land. We are aware that India is not trying to spread its, to take over our areas. And we are so happy for what India has done. So I think this Maldives especially has been an area of success for our for our country, and for Prime Minister Modi's thought process of neighborhood first. We have to make sure that our immediate neighborhood is with us, and speaks for us, and talks to us, and should not allow forces inimical to us to function in their areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Shokin Chauhan. Mr. Sajjanhar, do you think there is anything else you'd like to add? I think, covered fairly good ground on all aspects. Is there anything else? It'll be most welcome.
Basically, I think if I look back at the last 3 years or so, since Ibrahim Soli government came. So from 2018 November onwards, till about the beginning of 2020, we had a very rapid pace of exchange of visits, delegations, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, because of, in 2020 and 2021, 2 years, we have lost out on that because of the coronavirus pandemic. But as you, Mr. Chairman, mentioned very correctly, and I fully agree to that right from the time that the pandemic started, India has been there present for Maldives to help them out. When at the beginning, providing them with medicines, providing them with all types of support, airlifting large quantities of these medications. And also, if you look at the vaccines, when India started its vaccination process on the 16th of January last year, then within 4 days, in keeping with the neighborhood first policy enunciated by Prime Minister Modi in 2014, the two nations which are the first ones to get vaccines from India were Bhutan and Maldives. Maldives received its 200,000. Mind you, the population of Maldives is a little less than 400,000. So it received 200,000 vaccines gratis from India on the 20th of January, 2021. And then after that, of course, under COVAX and others, we have supplied more vaccines to them. So I think we need to do this. We had the visit of Mr. Abdullah Shahid, the former foreign minister of Maldives to India. And with India's support, he has become the president of the UN General Assembly. You would recall that China had put forward the candidature of the foreign minister of Afghanistan at a much later stage, after India had given its support to the foreign minister of Maldives. Thereby, China wanted to put India in a dilemma, because both Afghanistan at that time, there was no Taliban government at that time, both the Afghan government and the Maldivian government are very good friend of ours. But we said that we had given our commitment to Maldives to support them for the president of the UNGA. And with India's support, Mr. Abdullah Shahid was able to have a convincing, hands-down victory as far as the presidential election was concerned. So I think what we really need to do is, although Maldives has been saying that they follow the India First policy, which is very good, we have seen that in action in Maldives after 2018. But we need to further maybe expand our pace of what are called high impact community development projects, so that the benefits of the assistance and support that we are giving to Maldives is felt by the common man on the ground, by the common people, so that all these invidious and insidious activities by the by the opposition, by Abdullah Yameen and by his party, they are not able to cut much ice with the ordinary people, with the common people. The last point I would like to make here is, you know, that the Ibrahim Soli government and the parliament, they are considering a bill to outlaw these activities, such activities of India Out program, etc., etc., because they feel that it is very damaging and harmful as far as foreign policy, foreign relations of Maldives is concerned. And in the hearings that have been conducted by the parliament, whether it is the police chief or it is the army chief, both of them have come and they have deposed before the parliamentary committee, and they have stated that there is no harm, no damage, no danger to the Maldivian sovereignty as far, with respect to the presence of Indians and Indian soldiers who might be there on the Maldivian territory. It is for the benefit of the people and to preserve the peace, security, and stability of the country. So I think this is something that we need to further enhance, further promote, and reach out or connect even more with the common people of the country. Chairman.
Thank you, Ambassador Sajjanhar. Shokin, is there anything you'd like to add on, say, any aspect of training further
Sir,
that we can
yeah,
do between?
I would like to. I would like to go a little. I bring a little more issue into this. Over the last last decade or so, we have noticed there are attempts of radicalization of the Maldives population. 99% of the population are Sunni Muslims, and there is a bit of a problem in the sense that they are being drawn towards the ideology of the ISIS and the Taliban. This had come to us, about 5 years ago, and we've been trying our best. And this is something that we must caution the Maldivian politicians. We must caution the people that this road is not good. The road that of radicalization is not the right road to go. This is something I feel that maybe we missed out on our conversation with the issue of radicalization. We need to ensure to tell the people, and we need to have a protracted, plan to ensure that the people of Maldives don't go and don't accept the ideology of the ISIS or the Taliban, because that is something that we might find very difficult to defeat. As far as the attempt by China is concerned to try and involve Maldives within either their string of pearls policy or try and put a base, strategic base in Maldives, I don't think that's going to happen. Though, but as Ambassador Sajjanhar said, China will keep trying, because it's important that she thinks that she can encircle India or try and dominate the sea lanes of communication. But all in all, sir, in conclusion, I would like to say that are in a very tricky situation, in a very difficult time, India has held fast to the Maldives. We have told the Maldives political authority and as well as the Maldivian Defense Forces, as well as the people, that we are the only country that can help you. That is something we must keep stressing, in that in the time frame of a disaster, there is simply no other country that can reach. So I would request this to be further pushed, and we must make sure that Maldives remains with us, because Maldives is critical to any such plan that India might have along the Indian Ocean, as well as keeping our sea lanes of communication open. Thank you, sir. It's been a privilege to be with you on the show.
Thank you, Jan Chauhan. I think I must thank, thank both our discussants for, I think, covering very good ground here. And I will end only by saying that we must never allow China or any country to restrain us from doing whatever we feel should be done in particularly China. Particularly China, I hope it never happens what happened way back when China started gobbling Tibet. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It was a pleasure.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Thank you very much, Colonel Bhat. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir.
Chauhan. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Wonderful to be with you all.
Thank you.
Likewise.
My pleasure and time. Bye.